Hello, my name is Nancy Martinez, and I'll be talking about social structure theories and how crime-ridden neighborhoods impact young men's future and how they can basically break free from the cycle. So first, I'll be talking about the theories. So first, we have string theory. So it focuses on conflict between goals and means. So basically, unequal distribution of wealth, frustration, then turns into like alternate turns people into finding alternative methods to find that achievement or reach those goals. So for example, James and Mustafa, they experience strain because of the blocked access to education, unemployment, or safe housing. So then basically they have to turn to the code of the street, and it becomes like a way for them, like a little value system where respect and toughness and survival then become like the new goals. Instead of focusing on school and stuff, it's trying to survive. So then violence just, it's not something that just happens out of nowhere. It's the their norm, and therefore um it's just a rational way, it's just a rational way for them to act to the structure barriers. Up next, we have disorganization theory, social disorganization theory, and basically it's when institutions of social control have basically broken down. So conditions in the environment, deteriorated neighborhoods, inadequate social control, and then the form of gangs and groups that violate laws, and then conflicting social values. So basically, within the video, you can see where they both live in informal social controls. So which means adults don't intervene because of how normal crime is. So and there's always it was explained how there was always arguing in Philadelphia over nothing. So adults don't intervene as often, and then basically the street becomes the dominant institution. So then it replaces family or school, and with other groups that enforce said code, and then it's just like a cycle over and over again where you basically build your reputation through violence. Up next, we also have subcultural theory, and it argues that marginalized groups develop their own norms and values that conflict with basically normal social norms, or the outside of within that city, which is then often a response to exclusion from out the to the from the outside world, from outside of that little subculture. So then in the video, the subculture would be the code of the street, and where the values and the values come from respect, retaliation, and toughness. And they basically, James and Mustafa, internalize these norms and to scare off others or seem like they're basically just trying to survive. But if they don't go with these norms, then they can be seen as powerless or easy to be taken advantage of. So it's just kind of a give and take on how they need to survive overall. And then ways that they could basically get out of break that cycle is the community, the city can invest in the community. They could build safer schools or safer ways to go to school, or put money into schools. That way they have more programs. Because it was said at one point, I think over the PowerPoint, no, the chapter, the reading, how if there is after school programs, especially for juveniles, or just things that they can do outside of school, then juveniles won't be as bored. Then it will decrease crime a little bit. I know it might not completely help, since most crime is basically committed by adults, basically almost adults, but it could still like decrease like small little deviant behaviors of like kids forming little gangs and stuff. um could also, another way they can break free from that cycle is providing more economic opportunities. So like job training, internships, just more ways so that people can get employment. Because like as it was said in string theory, when people don't reach their goals, they turn to alternative methods. Then it turns to illegal selling of like drugs, turns into like selling of other things, or like doing other things in order to get money to survive. And it just makes a whole cycle over and over again. And then people are frustrated that they cannot get out of poverty. So creating like more economic opportunities would close that gap between the like people like are just barely getting by, or like they can't get by, to people who like are getting by, like barely getting by, but they're getting by to where they don't have to turn to those illegal methods. But yeah, so that is my take on how, like, on social structure theories, and how people can basically break free from a cycle. Thank you so much for taking this time to listen to my 6.5 minutes basically. But yeah, thank you.